We have 6:30, so I'm going to start the webinar. We don't have to start the meeting yet. We're recording. I'm sorry? They are coming. Okay, thank you. Joining us on Zoom, please, if you're not hearing anything, it's not started yet. Yeah, that's true.
Music. These people put their walk outside. Can you like it? Well, they may be like, oh my God.
The EDM.
Yeah. If I look at the cameras on B63,
Yeah,
so like yesterday.
and the B11 as well.
And the B9, which
They-
is not right, right?
Right?
One other one that's right.
There are several that they did, but those are the two for this district. And
And the
it was
BS.
supposed to be tomorrow, so I guess they did it a couple of days early.
Yeah.
Good.
That's what I made sure I said that's what you.
Made the day of the one constituent who was constantly contacting us about that.
And they said they were gonna do warnings for the first month, I think, 60 days, right?
Grace period.
And then it gets. B63 makes it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really happy I was with that one. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the worst one.
And hopefully that'll help with it.
Well, that might alleviate the bus stops. But there's still that horrible double parking problem.
Don't they give it to you when you're double parking too?
I thought it was just the bus stops.
No.
Double parking too.
They have to catch you twice, I think, in like a 10-minute span.
Gotcha. So we'll hear, so, so we have double parkers here, huh?
In the car, actually.
Well,
Listen,
correction.
I sat in the car.
But I'm guaranteeing you're gonna get complaints from businesses once,
Yeah. Especially deliveries to
the
drop off.
deliveries start getting tickets.
Well, I think we better drive with, the truck loading zones.
But that's on DOT.
Mhm.
Maybe, 40 years ago, if they, when you like they was supposed to. Yeah.
Do you know if they're on their way? How much longer? 5 minutes? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Probably don't keep them that way. No, it's about 5 minutes.
We're gonna start in about 5 minutes.
Who's just the last?
Sir, would you please just sign in the back table? Behind me?
That's 201. You know?
Who set up one for the next second now? Or Jessica told me I came right behind you, okay, to drop off Gibby. In the shirt vest. In the shirt.
Oh, yeah. That's like my favorite thing to do. Drop off
I said, did you hear from? She said, he just left maybe 5 minutes before you.
The textiles was great.
And some of them was really bad,
They put the
but he
textiles.
actually, I can do that at once. Okay, we're going to begin today's meeting. So welcome to the Public Safety Committee meeting that's being held today to hear liquor license application for Family Hall located at 201 46th Street. We're going to start by taking attendance. Sharon?
Thank you. When I call your name, if you're joining us on Zoom, please remember to unmute yourself, acknowledge your name, and then mute yourself once again. And we will start with the committee chairperson, Sophia Jeffers.
Present.
Thank you. Jerry Chan. John Body. Thank you. Kim Fung. Patrick Gonzalez. Patrick, you can unmute yourself. Okay, I can see you though. But you don't count towards quorum. Alicia Gonzalez. Thank you. Roberto Martinez. Alex Ramos. Pat Ruiz.
Here.
And you do not count towards quorum. Sam Sierra. Elena Storma. Thank you. Jiming Wu. Chairperson Julio Pena III. Thank you.
So we're going to begin. We have representatives and the owner. Yes? The owner, so if we could have the owner come to the front. Or the rep, we need someone from Family Hall to come speak, so you have to tell us your name, your association with Family Hall. Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is
Right, so everyone can hear you, or they could hear you on Zoom.
Hi everyone, my name is Eddie Morales. I'm here as the representative for Family Hall Events Inc. We submitted this application back in 2023. I work for Metro Food Services and we just filed.
Please speak up and into the microphone, please.
Okay, we filed various applications for various applicants and so today I'm here for Family Hall Events and like I said, we filed this application back in 2023 and it's still under review by the SLA.
So can you give us a little bit of background on the hall itself? When you came before us in 2023, we denied the application, we did not approve due to various concerns around security, capacity, events held, 311 complaints, 911 complaints, etc. as well as so can you tell us a little bit about the venue itself?
So the venue itself is operating as a tavern bar. That's how the application was submitted. It was originally going to be submitted as a cabaret license, but it's not. The occupancy is too low. It has a maximum occupancy of 570, and to apply for a cabaret license, you need 600. So that's why a second community board notice was sent to this community board, and it was filed as a tavern bar application.
Okay, so to be clear, the reason you're here is because it is currently pending before the New York State Liquor Authority based on our committee and our board denying the application in December 2023. Again, due to concerns that were brought up regarding security, capacity, events being held. There was also a question regarding the actual entrance that is used Well, you use 201 46th Street, numerous complaints were made that you actually use 45th Street entrance.
They,
There've been, let me finish off. There was numerous 911 complaints, including 2023 to today, including 2 arrests for illegal selling of alcohol as well as drug use in the location. So those are some of the concerns that still stand.
okay, so I'm just a representative of the application, but I do not represent. Second of all, I have here, the latest report of the SLA. They have their own enforcement bureau. And they did not find any of the things listed there. We also met up with the precinct back in September. And, you know, he said, I forgot this like, he said the figures might be a little bit exaggerated because the 311 reports are from all of Second Valley, not the venue itself.
So the 3 are very specific to 201 46. We actually have the precinct here. After you speak, they are going to come up and speak. But the 311s are very specific to the 2 addresses that are linked to the location. And respectfully speaking, if you're unable to share with us the security plan and everything else, because you don't run the business,
I have it here.
then I need someone from the location who is able to answer the questions. I understand you filed the application for, but the questions, if you're unable to answer them, if the owners here are someone who have information about the day-to-day running of the business, that's really who we need to hear from. So if there's someone that can tell us the day-to-day running of the business, because I understand your role, you're filing the paperwork. You could say, hey, I found the paperwork is filed correctly. That's not the question we have. We have questions about the day-to-day operations, which you're not there for. So if someone could speak to the day-to-day operations, that'd be great. Perfect. So we'll let him sign in and then he could speak on that.
I have a copy here of the method of operation, security. They were submitted back in 2023, but here is an update. In 2 years.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. I know you just come here, so you can take a breath. If you could just share your name and your affiliation with Family Walk.
My name is Ronnie Gonzalez. I'm the president of the establishment. And I've got about at least 5 years of experience working as a sanitizer. I started at Weed Hall. And from there, I worked myself a bartender to a waiter. And now I've taken this opportunity to open a vicinity for my neighborhood, Sunset, Brooklyn, where I hold a lot of events from live music to DJs come from other countries, and most importantly, a safe space for the community to come in and dance and have fun. And we even have bouncy houses provided on Sundays for family events during the day. Yeah.
So we have concerns, as you know, you came before us in December of 2023. At that time, we had a lot of concerns regarding the security, the capacity. There was a lot of complaints from the neighbors regarding the actual entrance that is used, as well as many of your patrons urinating on the street, illegal drug use. Since 2023, there's still been events held, even though you do not serve liquor. Whereas the rest have been made, including for sale of illegal, selling liquor illegally. And the community, many of which are here, they're going to speak, will also share that the entrance on 45th Street is used even though you used 201 46 on your application. So can you speak a little bit about that?
Well, the security plan for my place is fairly simple. We have at least 4, 6 securities every shift, every tour. And when we oversee the amount of patrons we expected for the event, we have securities on call. Um, if it's around 200 patrons, we have around 5 securities, and every 100 patrons we reach to 500, it's 2 to 3 more securities per 100. After the initial 5, I understand I've applied with the 201 46th Street entrance, but we have unfortunately, when we first started the business in 2023, I have a neighbor next door who runs the office. I'm not sure his company, but he didn't appreciate the fact that we had, overnight, people coming in, from the building's main entrance. Therefore, we decided to move it up to 46th Street, 45th Street, I'm sorry, not knowing it was gonna be, other to the residents from 45th Street all the way up to Third Avenue. Now, we have security working up and down Second Third Avenue, doing area checks every other hour. We try to do as much as we can to not have the patrons, loitering outside, smoking outside, like you guys said. I know Sundays is very hard because, a lot of young, adults come to these events. And, on top of that, I know we have a lot of noise complaints. I'm not sure I understand that from my neighbors, but maybe I have neighbors in the building. This establishment is that I'm not aware of. I wanna work together with the community and find out what more can I do from apart from soundproofing to having securities on the street, stopping any illegal activities, you guys are concerned about.
Okay, so what have you done since 2023? You've had held events there, so how are you serving liquor if you do not have a liquor license?
We've temporary, liquor sell, licenses. They run for about 2 months every period, and we have a chance to, uh, apply to those licenses 4 times a year. And that we've gone through a legal process in order to be holding events and selling liquor at the same time.
So the math doesn't match. You're allowed to apply for them every 4 months. That means you only have 8 events or 4 events.
No, no, the licenses are temporary. They're for a period of time. They're not just for one night. You know.
Okay, so how many of those have you applied for?
They run for 6 months, so possibly 4 times. This is the fourth time it's been renewed until January 13, 2026. Can you just repeat the answer?
Yeah, can you just repeat it for her? Or she could.
She said that our temporary licenses, um,
Run for
run for 6 months, and this is the fourth time we applied for a temporary license ever since 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so in terms of your capacity, it was previously shared as 570 is the capacity. As you know, there's another not so far from you, location that holds about 600. Many times you guys have events at the same time. And one of the concerns was the use of Second Avenue once again by the residents of the street. So how do you do your events? Are they held weekly, monthly? How are your events held?
Events are weekly and weekends, Friday overnight events.
What do you mean by overnight event?
We open from 10 p.m. and we close at by 4 a.m. in the morning. And we're aware that most of our patrons use cabs and taxis, so we have security to nicely give the taxi drivers the Second Avenue address to avoid traffic on 45th Street. Saturdays, we have private events up to 500 people, guests as well. Those are from 8, 9 p.m. and they end at 2 a.m. and we start cleaning at 2 a.m. Not much traffic neither. And Sundays, it's a day event from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I know we have a lot of neighbors complaining about the loitering on front of the building. We have security ask these adults to take their businesses somewhere else, or to go home, or to come inside the establishment. But yes, that's all.
Okay, so when you speak of the loitering, you say you have the security, but it doesn't seem like it's super based on your hesitancy.
We never have problems inside the establishment. So we arrest occur outside. I texted Lieutenant Shack to have some patrol cars aware of the time the mine events are supposed to end. That way, we don't have people selling food outside on the corner and to avoid all illegal activities. I'm not sure about the urinating, but we had people litter, like residents from the neighbors. I guess we don't get along. We've done sanitation reports to 311 as well ourselves because we also feel like some residents of 45th Street purposely made loiter. I'm sorry, but purposely made loiter outside the establishment to get us fined them by sanitation.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up to questions first from the board members. Joe?
For all of your events, do you take reservations first?
We sell only tickets that can be found for my Friday and Sunday events. So we already know how many patrons we're to expect for the event.
So these tickets are sold a week in advance, 2 weeks in advance, so you,
Roughly 1 to 2 weeks. Max.
and when do you start calculating how many people will be at an event?
We count up how much security will be needed.
No. I didn't ask security yet. I wanted to know, if you have an event tonight, let's say it's Friday, and you sold the tickets, and by Thursday, when do you start counting those tickets?
We're always taking in those tickets from Thursdays. We also sell tickets across stores like sneaker stores or clothing stores. We call the business owners to find out about how many tickets are sold. Sometimes it's slow, and we're always online checking how many tickets all the way up until Friday.
Okay, my question is not really being answered. I want to know, by the time you are having this event, do you know how many people will be at this event?
Yes, we know how many tickets are sold in stores and online, and that will give us an estimation with how many more people, maybe double from what we sold online and in stores, would be arriving to buy the tickets in booth in person as well.
Where I'm going with this, it appears to me that you really don't know how many security guards you're supposed to have at any particular event. Because if you have 100 people coming in and all you've ordered is 50 guards, just numbers as numbers, you really don't know how many security guards you have to have. Is this correct?
We have a minimum. we know how much we get on Friday, let's say 6 p.m. And the minimum is 5 security guards for the average 100 patrons.
Yeah, but you did say that you go up to 500.
Right, and
How
that's,
do you know that you're gonna have 500?
we keep count with the ticker on the front entrance.
Ah. So you don't know how many people you're gonna have in an event. You're doing a count as they come in. So you don't know how many security people you need for the event. Thank you.
Um,
I have two questions. One is, or they with an agency or what kind of security?
we have an agency and we have one supervisor that is designated for our establishment. His name is Omar. We call him Sergeant. Our establishment, and he's the one in charge in bringing in all the securities. And when we need more, he calls them up as well from around the area.
And can you elaborate a little bit more on noise control? What exactly is it?
Since the beginning, we put soundproof on the ceiling and walls, and we keep contact with the offices inside my building, and we've agreed that on Sundays, all the way until 6, 7 p.m., there won't be any loud basses on Sundays.
I have a question regarding, why do you use 201 46th Street if you only use the 45th Street entrance? I know you said it was to appease the office owner, but it seems like 45th Street is 95% residential. And most complaints and keep using 201 46 when the true entrance and exit is on 45th, which seems very deceptive to people.
Me and my team, we've been brainstorming a plan to move our entrance to 46th Street because we understand that this problem is inevitable as long as we continue using the 45th Street. So from now on, we're trying to figure out how can we work together with the office on go first and first floor. That way, we won't be very bothersome when we start using the 201 and 46 entrance. So for now, it's just an idea.
And it's also a Second Avenue entrance that you could use, right?
Yes, but that is right next to our neighbor downstairs, Weedy Tavern or Wheel Tavern, and we still have yet to discuss if we're able to share nearby entrances because their main entrance is right next to our back entrance on Second Avenue between 45th and 46th.
Right, because it seems like you said that you use, for car service and everything else, and one of your addresses appears to be also on Second Avenue. It just seems to be very confusing to people as to which entrance and exit is actually used for egress and, entrance. I also have a question. Do patrons, are they allowed to exit and re-enter?
Most of the time, yes, but when we have at least, let's say, 300 patrons, they're not allowed to go out, not for a smoke break, not to catch some air, and to catch some air. If they need to catch some air, then we call it a night for them, and they won't be allowed inside when we have big events.
What do you consider a big event?
At least 200, 250 patrons, which is rarely the case, maybe once a month, twice a month. You get happy with that, of course, but other than that, it's average 90, 100 people every Friday night.
And then you said you have Saturday private events. What is your average on private events?
Average is 400 guests.
So on an average Friday, you have anywhere from 100 to 250. On Saturday, average 400. And Sunday, during your day event,
Um, I'm not the promoter during Sunday events, but I'm aware that Sunday events it can get very anticipated twice a month, and it can go up to 400 patrons on Sunday as well.
okay, so on an average weekend, there could be 1,000 people.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the community? Not, I'm going to open it up to from the board members.
Jerry.
As part of Jerry, and then we'll have the 7.
At Ruiz, you can, unmute.
Hi, I don't know if this question was answered because the sound is not the greatest, but do you sell tickets at the door as well as in advance?
Yes, we sold tickets on the front entrance. We take card and cash.
And what is the occupancy for your space?
540.
I'm sorry?
540 is a max occupancy to have at the
I'm sorry, was that 140 people?
same time.
5.
Cynthia, please repeat.
It was actually 570, we were told earlier.
570. Okay. And my last question, what kind of events do you have on a Sunday? And is it Sunday during the day or Sunday at night?
Sundays from 2 p.m. in the afternoon all the way until 10 p.m. in the night because it's school night. 10 p.m.
Thank you.
Jerry Chang, you can unmute.
Hey, apologize not to be in there. So let me, and I might have missed this earlier. From what I understand that you currently that you are operating Saturday and Sunday with events, right? Are you serving alcohol during those times?
Yes, we are open for alcohol sales with a temporary license to sell alcohol during the events.
Yeah. So I apologize for not being here a little bit earlier. I do drive by that area pretty late at night. But what are you guys doing, right, to prevent people from urinating all the streets in puking all over the residential area? How are you guys preventing people from doing that? And what do you do afterward? Do you guys actually go out and clean it up, or you just leave it until someone else clean it up?
All right. Like I said before, we have 1 or 2 security guards going up and down to 45th and 2nd Avenue to ensure no patrons they recognize are loitering to prevent urinating. And every event after it ends, I personally go around my facility and pick up after all the beer cans and anything that could possibly tie me back into these garbage that are being thrown around by people say my patrons. So at 4 a.m., 2 a.m., or midnight after we're done cleaning and mopping and sweeping, I personally go outside with a bucket and clean up all the Modelo cans, all the food plates, any cups that I see around because my securities are also not allowed to let patrons take all any alcoholic open cans out the facility.
Well, okay, Cynthia, one more question, then I'll move on. So you tell me that the facility could host up to 400 people, but you only have 2 security guards watching the whole entire building, including up and down the blocks.
No, I have 2 security guards outside every doing hourly sweep checks on the residence buildings, ensuring that nobody's sleeping because we've been also told that some of my patrons sleep on the front porch. I have never witnessed it, but best believe we have securities on the look around the facility on 45th, 2nd Avenue.
So how many total security guards you have outside? The 2 security guys, their job is just to walk up and down and making sure that everyone stay in compliance. So what about how many security guards you have at the entrance and inside?
All right. So it's 5 or 6 overall in one night. 3 stay inside. two by the front stage, one in the front entrance, but inside, so that's three inside, two guys outside, and then we have a lady security outside as well with the two fellows. And the three, so the two guys and the lady security that are in charge of staying outside, checking in the patrons there are the ones that also make the security sweeps at the same time.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Thank you.
You serve food?
Yes, we sell hot food. Pre-cooked food we bring from home and reheat it once we're in the facility. This includes tortillas, tacos, and Mexican sandwiches. Too. Yes.
I'm also reading the letter that you sent, for reconsideration of our decision. And a lot that is here, it says things that you will consider in the future, like you said, we would consider getting a scanner to monitor the individuals who enter. We will be proactive in preventing by calling the 72nd precinct. And yes, well, they will reply because, as you know, you're not the only establishment in the community and certainly not the only one on Second Avenue. So even if they do more patrols, they also have a large area to cover. You said that you will ensure that double parking, urination would be addressed if there are complaints regarding noise, further action with the landlord if necessary. So these are a lot of things that you said you plan to do. Can you share some of the things you have besides the security?
Right, so this letter was sent out, to you, was it late August, early September?
Late September, September 25th to be exact.
Um, what was the first point?
The first point was that you said you were going to do a lot of things that you were gonna be proactive about, including, you would consider scanners to monitor the individuals who enter. You already have cameras, it's noted here. You will have greater enforcement of monitoring the behavior of its patrons. You said that you are going to ensure that incidents such as public urination or double parking will also be addressed by additional security. If needed, you're going to speak to the landlord. And even when I asked you the question about 20646 and why don't you use that entrance or the Second Avenue entrance, you said you have not yet spoken to the neighboring business that's there. So even though respectfully this was submitted in September of 25, we raised all of these concerns in 2023, which means you had 2 years to speak to Buddha Tavern, to speak to your neighbors on 46 or the office person, and to make some of those adjustments. So I'm just curious to see why those have been made, particularly using the Second Avenue entrance, whereas we all know is zero residential. And while it won't mitigate the issue of people walking up 45th or 46th, people won't be lined up 45th or 46th, which is one of your greater issues. So I'm just curious about that.
Compliance report said that they did not see line, as you mentioned.
Well, I only could go by what constituents sent me in the video, so their eyes are not gonna lie, and they submitted videos of this as well. So because SLA goes there one day, doesn't mean that they're there every time there's an event. You have at least 12 events, okay, and there's 12 events a month. So being there 7 times in a year compared to 12 events a month is very small percent. So I can go by what is sent to me and videos that were submitted by me, which they have submitted to this board consistently since 2023. Videos, pictures, etc. So I'm just curious to see about that. And if you wish to speak, you could come up to the mic. I'm addressing him since he's the day-to-day person, not you.
So, we do have scanners, ID scanners that our security brings. And he ensures that everybody has a not expired New York State ID. We will open up effective immediately on the Second Avenue entrance to avoid, we will just open up and stop using the 45th, Street entrance effective immediately. And we've also had 2 meetings with precinct, and I update Lieutenant Shack whenever I know there will be an event that will expect a lot of foot traffic 45th Street. Um, I'm trying my best. Working with the police, insurance safety. That's all I can say.
Have you ever thought of capping the number of patrons at your event? Like not selling tickets at the door? Because like Joe mentioned and Pat mentioned, if I know I'm selling a finite number of tickets, that means I'm not selling any at the door. I may prevent an overflow of people and having people come in. So that could be something that could be considered, saying there are no ticket sales at the door. So if I know, and I'm gonna stop it, so let's say I'm having an event, to, November 22nd, right? I know I'm gonna sell, I have capacity for 400, I'm gonna sell 300 or 400 or whatever it is I'm gonna sell, but I'm not gonna sell any at the door. I'm also gonna stop ticket sales on the 19th. So I have at least 2 days to come up with my security plan. I have 2 days to inform the precinct. I have 2 days to up my staff, to do whatever I have to do to make sure that I have complete control over the space that's inside. Yes, I understand when people leave and go to Third Avenue or Second Avenue, there's limited things you can do, but you can certainly control the number of tickets that you sell and the number of people that are in your establishment. And it seems to me that if one of the things that you could consider doing, and this is your business, you run it as you see fit, if one of the issues is that you're selling tickets at the door, causing a line at the door, that may be a concern for your neighbors that live on that block at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. on a Friday with kids. While you say Monday is a school night, a parent is a parent every single day of the week. And if I have a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, their bedtime is the same, whether it's Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning, going to school. So if you're right outside my door at 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 1 a.m., it's going to be a concern for me as a parent because my child cannot sleep. And there's noise outside. They wake up, they get disrupted, etc. So that's just something to consider. I'm going to have the precinct come up in case there's anything they would like to share. In the community. Okay. Thank you for being with us. Just say your name and role in precinct.
Hi, how are you? I'm Sergeant Michael Maynard. I'm newly assigned to the Q team working with the 72nd precinct. A couple concerns we have with the location in question result from numerous 311 calls as well as 911 calls year to date in 2025 between the address of 201 46th Street and 4515 2nd Avenue. Year to date, roughly 19 to 20 311 calls, all stemming from disorderly groups, public urination, open containers, alcohol consumption in front of these locations, as well as it appears to be 70 911 calls, a lot of the times stemming from the same conditions. It would be disorderly groups, narcotics use, physical fighting, assaults. All seems to be stemming from the family hall location. 2025 year to date, I've seen 4 open complaint reports. April 26th, they had a felony assault, of which it looks like 3 males beat up one of your patrons in the bathroom during that assault, broke his nose, lacerations and swelling to his face and his head. During the assault, he was also maced, so OC spread, which is obviously concerned if your security does not do their job at the door, checking your patrons for weapons and whatnot. On that same day, there was also another assault, seemed to be a female had seen her husband appear to be assaulted. He was bleeding from the face. She took out her phone and attempted to call 911. And when she attempted to do that, the perpetrator then took her phone, broke her phone, preventing her from calling for help for her and for her husband. No arrest has been made on that. That is also an open case. May 17, 2025, you have appears to be a myth, a domestic violence related incident in where a partner and his spouse were engaged in a verbal dispute. The female again went to go call 911 for help, and the perpetrator did break her phone. In that case, there was an arrest made. Then we have another assault on 9/14 stemming from a verbal dispute where a CB was punched in the face. Again, no arrest made on that. Current time seemed to be in that later afternoon, in the early morning as well. So at that point, if your parties are on and functioning, it appears alcohol is being served and alcohol is playing a part in this. One of the concerns I actually had when you said you're selling tickets at the door, if you have X amount of security per ticket sold and you're selling at the door, there's no way for you to count how many tickets you're actually going to sell. So one, how would you update your security on the fly immediately? If you have to bring in an extra 2, an extra 5, to an extra 10 bodies, how would you do that? You said yourself you're picking up open containers at the end of your shift, which to us means that your patrons are bringing the alcohol outside. Once the alcohol comes outside, there goes your noise complaints, there goes your narcotics complaints, okay? And last but not least, one of the conditions I observed myself, gang activity. I'm not saying that you're a part of a gang, but that area seems to attract gang activity. Local gang from the area, 5th Avenue, 4th Avenue, seem to be coming down. I responded to an assault there where the victim was a minor. The victim was only 19 years old. So that's also a concern. Are you having 18 and up parties? Are you having 21 and over? Is your security really checking IDs? Because if you're having people inside your establishment 19 years old, you're serving alcohol, they're being assaulted. So those are some of the concerns from the police department.
Thank you, Sergeant. I think we have a constituent with, their hand.
Jerry put his hand down. Adam Kluge, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for bringing this forward. There's just so much to get into. We have a bunch of the neighbors on the call right now. How long do I have to say my part?
Just speak.
Okay, thank you. So first, I think I just want to point out how Weta Tavern has been on 2nd Avenue for longer than Family Hall. And it's very clear the difference that Family Hall brought to the block when they were added there. I don't think, there were issues with how Weta, but nothing crazy. I think the police department could speak to the relatively insignificant number of complaints that probably came from that business for the year or so it was open before Family Hall came around. I'm cleaning bottles out of my tree pit halfway up the block 3 times a week because of this business. We're seeing drunk people and someone else over in the comments, stumbling up the block, urinating, throwing up, getting in fights, yelling outside of our windows at midnight on a Sunday. I'm sorry, the party doesn't start at 10, stop at 10. The noise, the 311s you're getting, probably not always for the right address because we don't know what address to use. We just know where they are and put their name in the chat. It's insane. It's what they've done is take a block that was already kind of teetering given its location, with a lot of neighbors that have been there for decades doing everything they could to kind of keep it safe and clean. And to hear this guy say we're littering in front of their business is absurd. We're doing everything we can to keep the block clean and safe for our families. And these guys, I'm having a hard time even making my points because I'm so upset at what they're saying and the prospect that they can get away with just moving around their entrance around the corner. Like that's going to make a huge difference. this is a nuisance business. They shouldn't be able to operate there. It's not safe. Sorry. See someone else now.
Thank you, Aaron. Are there anyone else that has any comments? Yes, come on up.
Hi, I have a question about the practice that you're currently using. Originally, you were going for a cabaret license, you switched to a tavern. What I've been hearing is that it's kind of operating really as like two distinct businesses. And so when you're explaining your security and what you personally are doing, my understanding is it's for the events, right, that you personally coordinate. Just from looking at comments online from people who have used the space, I do have an issue with the open bar. And so I'm trying to figure out how that works between the tavern license, because taverns are not permitted. They have very specific guidelines on how they're supposed to monitor alcohol use. And so one open bar, folks bringing their own liquor into your events before an event when, it's a baptism, so we don't need 20 security guards. I think there might be some assumptions also types of events and what's happening. But what I can say from someone who lives on 47th Street is that it is really problematic. The inebriation, the amount, like the streets are starting to smell like alcohol. The public urination all the way up to the train, all the way up past Sunset Park, the actual park, because the hangout doesn't stop when your party is over. You said folks are looking for cabs. You don't have to stay home, right? You said they have to leave here. Right? So that there's line of that. So you don't have to go home. You have to get out. My big issue is that there really doesn't seem to be any kind of consideration or consciousness around. Once you leave my establishment, you are no longer my responsibility. But that way of operating a liquor license business ended. Very, very difficult organizing by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. You have a huge responsibility. Doesn't matter if your business is operating to 4 a.m., which I also think is highly problematic in a residential area. You just seem to have no kind of consideration, right? Like, I think Mr. Evans did a really good job of highlighting, right, what you said you were going to do the last time that we heard from you, and still that we are asking the same questions, and the issue is getting worse. The 6-month temporary license is not meant for you to show your work. And so the fear is, if this is your best, where do we go from here when you actually get your license? Yeah.
Thank you.
Sarah Adams, you can unmute now.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So a couple of things. Yes, I've lived on this block for over 10 years. I've raised my 2 kids who are now older, who played outside at night. Now the younger generation of children are outside playing at night. We've seen, yes, heard fights in the middle of the night. We've seen people urinating actually out my bedroom window, looking, on the trees. This block was doing so well and the neighbors are coming together. We have block parties, and now the family hall is here. We see litter everywhere. We have public urination, and I'm just also curious, like, I don't understand how they have a temporary liquor license when this liquor authority has a 500-foot rule. I don't understand that at all, because Hawita is literally right next door to them. I know we've been talking about this for a few years. I just, families have written letters and sent in pictures and of things that we've seen. And I just wanted to voice my concern a little bit. Unfortunately, I have a family I have to go take care of, and I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional hands? Yep.
Meredith Kluge, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, just one other quick comment. I am so bothered by the fact that they have a temp liquor license and that seems to be okay, and that there are that many police reports and issues of violence that have come up, and that they're still open for business. How is that okay? How does our community board, how did the police let that happen? I don't understand. I feel like the conversation we should be having is if they're allowed to be there, and the answer is no. That's all.
Well, I will point out, temporary liquor licenses and single-day events do not come before the community board. The permanent liquor license does, and that's why we're here tonight.
Well, I appreciate you and I appreciate that. I think I would love to know and happy to discuss this amongst our neighbors and with you offline, but we'd love to know how we can take that up with the appropriate people because clearly it's being abused by this company. Thank you very much. I'm very upset and also just like our neighbors, and I apologize if I'm coming off harsh, but we're just beyond ourselves. We all have families and we want our block to be a nice place to live and raise them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ruiz,
Hi, I'd like to make a motion to not approve.
Thank you, Pat, for that. Because we don't have a quorum, but we will definitely have it in there to move it forward. Thank you.
Giuseppe Scarella.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Thank you for, hearing us. I've also lived on this block for several years with the family. I just want to reiterate the points that from the police officer and from my neighbors. This is all true. This is all happening. And I think, it's probably even worse if you can come here any weekend at night and see it for yourselves. It's chaos. Um, the 311 and the 911 reports speak for themselves. They've had several years to get their act together, and they haven't shown any willingness to do so or to change their ways. So I just don't see what, and I'm for business. So I'm a business owner. There's several other business owners on this block. We're not anti-business, but we're pro-community. And, I don't want, I'm not one to take someone's business away, but if you can't operate it respectfully, then I just don't see why we should just continue to let them have temporary licenses to just go around these rules and just not care about our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so at this moment, I just would like to say that based on all the comments that we have heard, the board is going to retain their decision from 23rd, 2023. Not going to change our position that we had at that time in 2023. I would also like to share that Valley Wall is going to go before the State Liquor Authority on November 19th. Any of the constituents that were here today, we urge you to send your comments to the community board so they could forward it to the State Liquor Authority. That hearing will take place November 19th at 10 a.m. It will be on the community board newsletter. Please send your comments as shared. The community board will not change its position from the standing that it took in 2023. I would like to thank you for coming here today with us.
I came here late, but I wanted to interject, if I may.
I have no idea who you are, sir.
Sorry, just. My name is M. Daniel Fox. Sorry. I pulled my hamstring yesterday, so just sorry.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is M. Daniel Fox. I'm the attorney. I wrote that letter that we read earlier this evening. Basically, we had. Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
Not at all. Okay, so the bottom line is we made the appointment to see the precinct, and we did have a conversation with Inspector Shack,
Lieutenant
I'm sorry, Lieutenant Chad. And, he did recommend that if there's gonna be a large event, that we should notify him ahead of time, so he would have extra patrols in that area. Regarding the other issues, regarding noise complaints, clearly, we have to do a better job regarding noise complaints, not saying it wrong. We can agree that, as he pointed out, we can, agree not to have any same-day sales premises. And this way we give a better idea of what the security should be at that time, based on, let's say, a day or two ahead of time, closing the, sales. And, as, it was pointed out, we could start immediately have the entrance at a different location to, avoid the residents having issues at that time. I just wanted to point this, point this, matters out. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Still not gonna change the position I had, but I do appreciate those efforts that you made. Like I said, this is 2023. And a lot of the things could have been resolved within the 2 years that were there, including the entrance, all of these things. I was the person that was here in 2023. Most of my committee members are the same committee members, and we heard the same thing back then. So it's been 2 years. I also think the fact that while it is allowed that you do the temporary liquor licenses, I don't think that is the purpose of a temporary liquor license, to extend it 4 times a year for the last 2 years. Spent exactly for that, temporary, while you're trying to do what it is that you need to do. You heard from the sergeant, then you did speak to Lieutenant Sheck. I have spoken to Captain Jansen personally myself, and as was shared today by the sergeant of the QT, they still have a lot of concerns about this location in particular. Concerned really about the 4 open cases, including the fact that someone brought mace into the establishment while you have security, which is very problematic. And it could have caused something more else, as well as the fact that a 19-year-old was involved in an assault when we heard that you scanned for ID. And yes, but we know students and people can get very creative with IDs, and when they get in, it is a concern, because we need to ensure that it is an establishment that's going to be run in the correct manner, and it does not appear to have been so in the last 2 years. So while I respect, appreciate the efforts that you're saying now, to come before today instead of coming with these solutions much earlier, frankly, I don't think it's going to mitigate anything between now and November 19th, where you do appear before the state liquor authority.
I understand. I would like to point out the scanners were recently, instituted, and that is, the matter obviously happened prior to the institution of the scanners. And I also know that the record, it sounded like most of those incidents took place, in April and May, and only one incident has taken place over the past 6 months.
September 24th.
Right.
A day before you sent me the letter.
I, not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying.
So
the
we're here. If you put in a lot of things in place, and in a few months things are different, we're open to hearing more about what it is that has been done rather than what may be done. But at this point, for your November 19th meeting, we're going to say that our position has not changed on what we discussed in 2023 at this time.
I understand, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, noted, that it's in terms of like the differentiation between the cabaret and the I just wanted noted, that if you do return and want us to reconsider, it's really, really important that you explain the distinction about why you're a tavern and not a cabaret. Because the truth of the matter is, what I heard today, you're a cabaret, you're a club. Thank you.
Thank you. Like I was saying before, I would like to urge the committee and the community members that were here today, if you have any concerns, please email them to our community board so we could forward them to the state liquor authority. The hearing, once again, is on November 19th. Our board meeting is that evening. Our board meeting is after the event, so that's why we have to be here today. So I would like to thank everyone. Everyone have a good night. And we will be sending out a follow-up email to the residents.
Good night, all.
For, entertaining our position tonight.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you, ladies. Stay warm. Yeah.
Good night.